You mean like guest stars that could come on our show?
Or not even just Lost Girl, just any show that you're a part of, any actor or actress that you would just, it's your dream of wanting to work with them.
Well, I mean, I kind of became an actor watching Meryl Streep. Like she was who I watched growing up. I know it's a little bit cliche, but it is. I watched all of her stuff when I was a kid. I wanted to be an actor since I was about 5 or 6. Like as soon as I could say that sentence, I was in. So it was her that kind of inspired me in that way. But there's so many actresses and actors I would love to work with. I mean, Cate Blanchett is extraordinary. You know, she just won the Oscars. You know, and yeah, I mean, there's lots, sure, yeah. And I think most actors that you work with, whether they're high profile or not, they're unique in their own way, because it really is an intimate thing to do a scene with somebody. Sometimes you just meet them moments earlier. You say, hi, I'm Zoe, and they say, hi, and then you do this scene, and you have to find an instant intimacy with them, which is a really kind of cool thing to do with somebody that you've just met. It's kind of what I love about performing, is that.
Blue shirt up here.
So, as you act longer with one character, like you're going on 4 years here, is it harder to separate between Zoe and Lauren? Like, do you bleed over more, or because like at the beginning you really separated, and I get that, but the longer you're in character, does it not bleed over into?
It's more if the scene is really demanding. Like if you have a day where there's a couple of episodes where Lauren is pretty upset, like seasons 1 through 4. I don't know. and you know, sometimes you go home after a day where you've been, you know, the breakup scene between Bo and Lauren that day. Like we shot that for hours, and it was really a draining scene. And you know, when you're seeing tears and those are real. You know, you're really kind of putting it out there, and you go home and it's difficult to let go of that scene when you get home. It's not so much that I can't separate the people, but the emotion sometimes, your body and brain can't tell the difference between I'm really crying, you know what I mean? So sometimes you get home and it takes a while to kind of get out of that sort of feeling.
Hi, so let's move back to you.
Is it easier to kiss a woman or a man?
I think both's really easy. Well, since they both have lips, I don't have a problem with either one.
Yeah, that was really.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, at least her skin was softer.
Right.
As opposed to.
I don't know. I mean, I've kissed some great women and some great men, so I think I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
You mean after men and women? I don't know. I think it's illegal wherever it is.
I have 2 quick questions. One, what happened when you guys were reading through the scene for the first time with the special serum that made her human?
Well, that script went through some changes, and there was I think it was we tried to figure out the best way to do that, but it was very interesting, and it was yeah. I mean, I don't know how to talk about it. Apparently, I just learned I don't know how to talk about it right. But yeah, I mean, it was a bold choice from the writers, and we went with it.
That was great. Second question is, I read somewhere that Anna Silk has a boob wrangler.
Does she? I don't know. I've never seen her boob wrangler.
Okay.
He must be very quick. He's in there wrangling and then he gets out. I've never seen him. I want a boob wrangler. If she has one, I want one.
Tip here, the front.
As Kinsey is Solo's characters, we only have a real human on the show. Do you guys share anything about the characters you play, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had conversations about it over the years. Our characters have such different journeys. You know, she's in such a different world than Lauren is. Lauren is, although we're both outsiders in our own right, Bo is so connected to Kenzie for so many sort of reasons, and is so protective of her that we have sort of different journeys despite being on the outside. There's sort of they're not as parallel as I think that it would seem. Yeah.
Very silly question, but is Kinsey allowed to eat? She's about this big. It amazes
me
You'd
when I
be,
see
you'd
her.
be astounded if you saw what Ksenia Solo eats. She has no problem eating, that girl likes her food, so,
It just amazes me how
Body types.
tiny she is.
yeah.
Okay, that's it.
No, I know, just
Totally
body
not fair.
types, no, she's a very good eater. Emma was like, good lord. Yeah.
Mine is the singing scene. Which one would be your most difficult episode that you've ever done?
Difficult. Gosh, it really is that episode, just because of the different directions that it went in, you know, I mean, sometimes it's language for me, like sometimes the dialogue that I have to say is really challenging, and there are times where I am literally just trying to get it out of my face. I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm doing, I have no objective, my scene partner, I'm just trying to get the words out of my face. And if I do it, I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, there's that. I mean, my dialogue sometimes is really challenging because I'm saying words that are not only medical jargon, they're science fiction medical jargon, so I can't even like look them up on the internet because they're not real. So I'm just like saying stuff that are like 9 syllables long that means nothing.
And then you get the mythology thrown in and.
Yeah, they try and explain it to me. I'm like, I don't care. Let me just say this.
I see at the back of the room.
What would be your all-time favorite character to play, or a character that you would like to play the most? Not
I don't
just
know.
in Lost Girl, but at Torso.
In general, yeah, I don't know if there's a specific character, but I really, you know, I'd like to sort of probably evolve into some more comedy now. You know, I've done a lot of drama in my career, a lot of really sort of serious roles, and I did a movie not long ago called Sex After Kids, which is a comedy, and I love comedy. I love doing that, and I think, you know, at the base of all comedy, and this has been said a million times, so I'm just sort of regurgitating, but is you know, tragedy, right? Of course, right? That's the swing of it, and I love building humor out of that place. It's a favorite thing of mine, so that probably.
It's right up here.
I know what my favorite line, my favorite line that Lauren says during season 4. What's yours?
My favorite line?
Yeah.
Ready, set,
I-
go.
yeah.
I got it. Boo! You remember when I said that? We laugh about it because I say it like, I'm like, no. Oh. Oh. No. 20 minutes. I have no idea. I can't remember all the lines. But I think that probably.
When you do your read-throughs, when you get your script and you have your first read-throughs,
Yeah.
like Lauren was off at the beginning, are you reading through with them? Do you guys just are you guys confused because you don't know where it's going to, like the rest of us are confused? What happens during a read-through?
The read-throughs happen usually the day before or a couple days before we shoot the episode that we're reading. It happens on a lunch break because there's no other time to do it because we're filming all back to back, and then we have the Saturday and the Sunday off. So on one of the lunch hours, we all get together, everybody, and so it's the writer of that episode, the producers, and then all of the cast, all the guest stars come in, and we read through the script, and then it's an opportunity to kind of bring up anything that you bump on or snag on, and for the writer who's written that episode to finally hear it out loud, because it's the only time. That's it. That's the only time that we actually all hear the whole story of that episode together. And then you go home you're on your own to kind of, you know, dissect the script and whatnot. But that's the only time that we're all together. So it's an important thing, the read-throughs. It's helpful. Yeah.
Right up here, black.
So how does it feel that Dr. Lewis has kind of gotten her own identity versus being Bo's girlfriend and always running after Bo, and now she's kind of doing her own thing?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, as an actor, I love it because I think that it gives us more to play with. And of course, I think it's obvious that those two characters will always be connected in one way or another, in the same way that Dyson and Bo will always be connected. But I think that taking us apart like that and giving Lauren her own sort of thing allows us the opportunity to come back together or miss each other or to do whatever it is we're going to do, you know? I think I was always sort of nervous when they had us be in a relationship because although it was great, a lot of people wanted to see that, I was worried that it would deflate the tension a little bit. And I think that taking us apart and allowing us to kind of love each other from afar, which I think that they will always do, is just much more to play with.
And then going down that vein, I mean, Lauren's gotten this great backstory in the past couple seasons.
I know, God, she's a lunatic. Helping her brother with bombs and all kinds.
And you got to see the whole who here knows how to make a pipe bomb.
I know, hello.
How did you feel about the obvious change in look too there for a while? I mean,
The wig?
the crazy wig.
Yeah, I hate the wig. I had 2 weeks on the show and I hated them both. But I don't know. You know, some people. I have one of those faces that if you do anything to it, it just goes horribly wrong. Like hats, I can't do hats. I have a tiny head and I drown in hats. Yeah. Anyway.
Just real big for hats, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
In the U.S., I'm 99% sure that's yes.
Yeah, they have.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there.
If they don't, they're making a big mistake.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're getting it. I feel like that was said somewhere.
Yeah, it's
or
dumped
I'm telling you
in and
something I
out.
shouldn't, and sorry.
I'm hearing that.
Blue?
Can you take us through a typical day on the set, like what you would do, what you do on the set?
Yeah, we get picked up and then we go to our trailer and then they bring us into, I go immediately and get a coffee. First thing I do.
Of course.
Because you're still sleeping because it's 4 in the morning.
Oh,
And then you go into your hair and makeup, which depending on what you're doing, for me, it takes about probably an hour and a half to go through hair and makeup. And then some of the characters that have all of the crazy stuff on them, for them it's hours and I would have to kill myself. But, yeah, and then you block the scene. You go in and blocking the scene is where the director sort of says stand here and move there and you figure out how to do the scene and then you shoot it. And you do that all day long for about, 47,000 hours or something. Yeah. Yeah.
And
they do, like, is it a piece of a scene at a time or an entire scene? How hard is it that, don't they normally film them out of sequence?
You shoot the scenes out of sequence entirely, yeah. So you could shoot the last scene of the entire episode first up. It's possible.
How difficult is that to not have it in some kind of a linear?
It can be. We have somebody on set called the continuity, and so they're there for that exact reason to help you kind of say, what happened before we shot this scene? So we just finished doing it, right? Okay. And then that's typically what I need to know. Yeah, and then it's hard, but you just get used to it. I mean, that's the way that anything is filmed. Nothing, if you're doing a movie or a series, everything's shot out of order. And yeah, so you'll do a master, which is generally they'll try and do the whole scene, and then you break it down. So if there's 4 of us, they have to move the camera to get all 4 of us. And so, that's why it takes so long, because you're constantly repositioning the camera.
Congratulations on your Canadian screen.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much. It was fan choice. Yeah, it was the Fan Choice Award, which was very cool because it was the fans that voted for that particular award. And it was a complete surprise to me because I had no idea I was even in the running. So when they presented it to me, I was completely, I didn't even know what she was saying to me. Like, you won! I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. So it was great, but it was, what a lovely award to get from fans. It was very cool.
Yellow hat.
Being a fan, I'm just curious when show goes, I'm sure you guys hear one.
Never. I don't think I get creepy fan mail. I don't think I've had anything creepy. Oh, I have creepy? I mean, yeah, I get lots of hair. What's that?
No locks of hair.
No locks of hair. Can you imagine? No, people are lovely, really. I have to say, people send me pictures that they've drawn, and they're extremely talented. Like some of these pictures I see are like, you're the artist. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's beautiful, actually. I get lots of really cool stuff, and 99.9% of fans are really, they're lovely and they're respectful and they get the dynamic, and it means the world to me to get the chance to meet you guys and to say thank you, because there is no doubt in my mind, we're on the air because you guys tune in, and I get that 100%. So it's a privilege to get to meet you guys.
Hearing that.
film in Canada?
We do, we film in Toronto.
Yep. Yep.
What is the difference then? I mean, have you worked too much on the US sets? I mean, I know some of the smaller stuff is now moving to Toronto.
Well, a lot of stuff that is US content shoots over there, so I haven't had to. I mean, I've done a ton of stuff where I've shot in Vancouver and all across Canada, but most of there's so much US content that shoots in Toronto that you kinda don't need to. Yeah, I mean, yeah.